for one, personally don't like when the international weekend is upon us, but it is what it is. We got to do what we got to do when it comes to prepping up for that one. The Super Eagles of Nigeria will be in action this weekend. The final two games in the qualifiers for Qatar 2022. First round of qualifiers before it gets to the the biggest stage of them all, where get to Qatar. Welcome once again. I am Samuel Victor Akman representing the gang today, and I've got, as always, on a Tuesday, the guys alongside me to do justice to everything we're going to be discussing. Like I said, we're here up until 10 p.m. So 3 solid hours of a football, of sporting conversation, more like, for you to savor. We are live streaming on Facebook, so you can be part of that one. Drop your comments on Facebook. We are there at Nigeria Info FM 993. So there you have it. And you can also drop your comments on our banner, where we put out asking you all of the questions we're going to be talking today on the show, so you can also be part of it. The phone lines are also active for you, 0700 993 993 993. And we've got WhatsApp as well, 08095975805. When the time comes, I will go to those platforms to get your thoughts. But time to meet the guys in the studio. I'm not alone. As always, with us here, Femi and the gang. I've got, where do I start? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I like to do that. Let's introduce Femi Obong Daniels, who joins the broadcast today. He was here, was it last week or a couple of weeks ago? For the Newcastle conversation. Very, very robust conversation. And he is here. Originally, he's supposed to be the one here, but he said when you're big, you're large. You can delegate duties to people.
You can be here, there, and everywhere.
Yeah, and it can be nowhere.
Or somewhere.
Good evening to you, Femi. Welcome to Game On.
How are you doing?
Very well, thank
you.
Is
it me, or is Ole Gunnar losing weight? His head is looking bigger than I remember. I don't know what's going on. Whether it's camera angles or it's looking very caricature. I don't know. Who's seeing the image I'm seeing? That's him there.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get on to it. Let's leave the man alone today. Let's not beef him. How are you doing, guys?
Very well, thank you. I don't know of the rest of the guys, but I am fantastic.
Okay. We'll know soon enough. I'm suspicious of this one. This one.
All right, then. So you have Femi Obong Daniels in the building. There's also Anthony, the voice. He likes to be called the voice and not the other one we know him by. But Anthony, always a pleasure to have you on Game On a Tuesday.
Yeah, I mean, great to be here.
But he's the voice. Why are you antonizing him?
I don't understand.
Nobody cares, apart from his dad and his mom or his siblings.
Yeah, right.
I wonder what they call you at home, actually.
They call me my Igbo name.
Yeah, what's your Igbo name?
Akachuku.
Akachuku.
I've never
That's
known
what
that.
daddy calls you.
Yes.
Yeah? How about your mom?
Same thing.
Okay, that's nice. It's it's very funny what your family calls you. I've said it on radio before. My father only calls me Mfon. That's what he calls me. Yes.
Wow,
special.
I never knew that.
Yes, that's
Those
what my dad
things are
calls
special.
me. Yes, he calls me Mfon. And my
Mfon
mom has.
Mabasi.
My mom is actually Mfonobong.
Mfonobong.
Yes.
Okay.
My mom has different pet names. And this thing where your dad calls you one thing, your mom calls you
another. Yeah.
Pet names. I can't even list out my pet names. And the angry names, they flog you back.
When they're angry,
there's one name they call you when they're happy with you or they're trying to psych you. They call you your formal names when you've messed up. And you're going to get a licking.
Yeah, certainly. But don't we love it? We really love it. I wish I could say mine, but Femi will probably use it against me.
Yeah.
Like I said my nickname one time, and today I'm palm wine.
As long as wine is not there. Isn't there? I thought I saw some... what is it? Advocacy now to drop the palm wine in your name.
Yeah. I've been begging you for that.
Okay, so
can we make that official today?
Yeah, it's official.
All right, thank you very much.
Advocacy done. So what's this other one now?
The name my parents call me by, it's Udo.
Okay.
Do they call you Udo or Udo?
It's actually Udo. My landlord calls me Udo, but my parents call it. Udo means last son. Yeah, so it's
Udo is not last son; it's the second son.
Okay, because I'm the last son. That's what I'm saying. Second and the last son.
Okay.
So
it's actually Udo.
So where you come from, which I suspect you know nothing about. The first son is called Akpan.
Yeah.
Your second son is called
Udo.
The third son is called what?
Itogudo.
Uh-huh.
See what we wanted to I know my roots. I know where I'm from. But anyway, guys,
And afterwards, if you decide to have more than 3 sons,
you can
there are
see
no
my-
other names.
It is lovely. It is lovely indeed. But there's also, I wonder what his own traditional native name is called. Temi Tokwe is in the building. Temi Tokwe, nice to see you.
Pleasure
Welcome
is
to
all
Game
mine. Thank
You
you
want to
very
divulge
much.
that secret?
So, moving on to Game On. It's nice being here. I don't want to talk about that, but then
When you say you don't want to talk about, I'm sensing it's not pleasant.
it is actually.
So let's know. Let's have it.
Adeyemi. That's just it. Not
Adeyemi.
you, but yes.
That's the name they
Adeyemi.
call you at home.
Oh, at home is Tim Tokwe,
Temitope
but then my local named Adeyemi.
Adeyemi. But what does daddy call you?
Okay, Tokwe.
There's
Yeah.
always a variation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not
And
some.
is that what your mom calls you?
No, mom is Tim Tokwe or T-Babs.
T-Babs.
Yeah.
Your mom calls you. Yeah, your mom is funky.
I tell you.
I like how
T-Bab sounds like something girlfriend would call it.
yeah.
I like
well,
how-
or groupies.
Yeah,
Well,
homies and all that.
something
Do,
like that.
do your siblings call you different names?
Yeah, it depends. When we are fighting, it's different. When we are together harmoniously, it's different. But then, my older sister calls me Tubzi.
Tubsi.
Yeah,
Wow.
she gave
They
me
don't
funny
destroy
how,
his name. T-Babs, Tubzi.
funny how my email is actually tubzibabs@gmail.com. My sister actually formed that name, and that was when I was in secondary school. I didn't even know. I was in hostel, and we were preparing for WAEC. So she now said, "Oh, Popsy was asking for what to give me as an email." She just mentioned it. I'm like, "What's this? Tubzi, what?" But then I got used to it. Then my friends saw the email and they started calling me that. But then it's actually quite nice. It's quite interesting.
If I was in your
love the
family,
name.
you know what I'll call you?
Oh God.
Torpedo.
Torpedo.
Torpedo. Yes.
Okay.
That's giving him
in
too
my
much
in my
credit.
family. My brother's my
Yes.
brother is Tokwe, but he's also Shola. So for us and from friends from childhood,
Yes, sir.
you know, if we are Tokwe, you are Torpedo. Torpedo. We used to call you Torpedo Squadron 1, Torpedo Squadron
So
2.
that
If
would
there are more Tokwes in the vicinity, so
Okay.
that's. And you like that? There's something about torpedo.
It's official. That would be my on-air name.
But you know
from
the
now
meaning.
on. So
The meaning of torpedo.
Yeah, of course, torpedo means so it's a weapon. Do you weaponry? The type you dispatch from a submarine. Do you understand? So it's like
Interesting.
yeah, you so usually
Yes.
it is sometimes it's like a small submarine in a big submarine, which is why you hear about the torpedo squadron, a group of guys who did you guys please whoever saw Thunder Sub here, Thunder Sub.
No.
Okay, yeah, okay. I'm old. Okay, but who saw Voltron?
I
Yeah.
If you saw Voltron, you probably would have seen because I saw Voltron before I saw Thunder Sub. I don't know, but so there's something there's just militaristic thing. So when you see a squadron, it's like so it's a very positive name when somebody when you call you torpedo like all action guy and all of that. Unless you are dull, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know whether you are dull.
No, I'm not though. I'm not.
What do you want to talk about?
No, I'm not.
Anyway, that's so you've met the cast. Samuel here in the building. There's Femi.
On a night like
Bogdan.
tonight, I forget. I miss Tipsy Code
Yeah. For what reason, anyway?
because we are talking about Tokwe and all of it. What's Tipsy Cole's real name actually?
Tokwe cool.
It's Tokwe. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's Tokwe Cole.
Cool.
So I don't know how we went from Tokwe to Tipsy, but I'm very worried about why they gave it that. Tipsy.
Well, I don't. He doesn't look the type that is, for that name.
You don't. Well, again, what do you know?
Really now? Ooh, okay.
All right. So at
Shots
this
fired.
point, I think we need to get back to the show before I get another one. So you met the cast: Samuel, Femi, Temi Tokwe, and of course Anthony in the building. And there's so much to sink our teeth into. We've got a break, but I think more than enough time for us to start off the conversation. And there's no better way to start than talk about the Super Eagles of Nigeria. They are in preparations for that double header 2 games coming up for them on Saturday and on Tuesday for the race to get to Qatar in 2022. They do take on Liberia, and then they take on Cape Verde right here in Lagos, the final of those qualifiers to get to Qatar. And 21 players, according to the reports you are getting, are in camp already. The camp is bubbling. The Tangier in Morocco camp, they're actually in Morocco preparing for this one. And the camp is bubbling. The trio of Victor Osimhen, however, Odion Judy Gallo, who is getting a recall to the side from retirement, and John Noble are yet to get into the camp. Now, talking about players that are in camp already, Maduka Okoye, the new Watford goalkeeper, after that news broke yesterday. We'll talk a bit about Maduka Okoye. Daniel Akpeyi, Paul Onoachu, William Trust Ekong, Ola Aina, Kevin Akpoguma, Wilfred Ndidi, Jamilu Collins, Alex Iwobi, Chidera Ejuke, Frank Onyeka, Kelechi Iheanacho, Ahmed Musa, Chidozia Wazim, Samuel Chukwueze, Kenneth Omero, Moses Simon, Zaidu Sanusi, Shehu Abdullahi, Leon Balogun, and the Rangers man Joe Aribo are the 21 as at before we stepped into the studio, at the 21 in camp. Like I said, Victor Osimhen, Igalo, and John Noble, who is a late replacement for Francis Zoho, are expected today in camp for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. So exciting times as we build up to those games against Liberia and Cape Verde, starting off with Liberia this Saturday. That's World Cup qualifier. So what's the feeling like, you want to say? I think at some point we'll try to connect to the media officer of the Super Eagles, if we can, before the end of the show, to talk about what the feeling or the mood in camp is like. But Femi, let me ask you, top of the group, but not home and dry yet when it comes to a race to get to Qatar. Now, we've seen the matches, 4 matches in, not the sort of results we expected on some of those games. But looking at the quality of the players in camp, enough of what we did the last time, are you particularly confident that the 2 games left for Nigeria and Gennett Raw is going to be bliss?
Well, I think let me try and be factual while at the same time being diplomatic. I think there has been some sort of a knee-jerk reaction to the selection process. And again, the last result, I mean the shocking result Nigeria had last time clearly set certain things in motion. Mm-hmm. The kind of quality of players that we're looking for, there's been a lot of talk on social media and elsewhere about the re-invitation of an Igalo. Some even question, Kenneth Omero. There are questions in that regard. And some of these players who I don't know what to believe right now. When the draws were made, everybody expected Nigeria to stroll. In fact, I think on one of the shows I was here, and the conversation was that Nigeria should get maximum points, and I was saying I expect Nigeria to draw one of the away games. And I don't remember. Yes, yeah. And I expected Nigeria to draw. I wasn't even expecting that Nigeria would lose. In the manner in which the country did. So the reaction has been a bit knee-jerk. I think there's enough quality for Nigeria. I don't see any severe damage to stop Nigeria's chances. Somehow, maybe that loss will make them fire even better, maybe finish up these qualifiers. My main concern, as has been from day one, is what happens after we move on from this stage to that final knockout stage, and who do we draw, and whether we have the quality to stop whoever we draw home and away.
All right then, quality certainly are plenty for Nigeria, but everyone seems to be looking ahead to the next stage of qualifying, like Femi did say. But it's still a lot of job to be done. 2 more matches, and then we can finally see where we stand from then on. Anthony, I'd like to talk about we've got a break in less than 2 minutes time, but very quickly, let's talk about one man, like Femi did mention, Jude Igalo's invitation back to the Super Eagles of Nigeria. I'd like to get your take. I did ask this question, I think it was last weekend,
Yeah.
as to any disruption with his presence back in the Super Eagles side. I mean, it's coming at a period where Victor Osimhen, the centre forward, is firing on all cylinders. Kelechi Iheanacho is also doing the business. But bringing Jude, he may necessarily not play. But just having that presence in the team, if you're Victor Osimhen, would you be looking over your shoulder and saying, you got to do extra than you're doing before?
This conversation, unfortunately, I have not really had time to, talk about it. Probably not just being in the studio at the right time. This conversation is up and running. But I think that sometimes we back here in Nigeria, we oftentimes make issues out of nothing. We see things happen in other countries. We don't talk, but when it comes to it's Nigeria, we always have a reason to actually talk and want to be critical. It's good to be critical, yeah. But the issue of players of his magnitude returning back to the national team, even after hanging the booth in quote at the national level, is no news, and we've seen that happen several times.
All right, Anthony,
all right.
just sorry to cut you short. Hold that thought. We'll have to go on a break, pay our bills. When we come back, we'll talk some more right here on Game On 99.3 Nigeria Info. We are Femi and the Gang. Here on 99.3 Nigeria Info, Nigeria's number one for news, talk, and sports. Yes, that's certainly who we are. Welcome back to the show. 7:34. We're still talking about the Super Eagles of Nigeria. I am Samuel. There's Femi Obong Daniels here. There's Anthony, the voice, and there's Temi Tokwe as well. Tipsy, you said? Autopsy?
No, torpedo.
Torpedo. Okay,
Yes.
Femi has renamed you Torpedo.
Yeah, torpedo.
In the studio talking about the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Before the break, Anthony, guys, remember, we are live streaming on Facebook. And of course, you can join the conversation via the phone line 0700 993 993 993 in case you don't know the numbers. We've got a female line as well, 01465 7190 01465 7190. WhatsApp is live, 08095975805 is the number to send your WhatsApp messages to. Anthony, before the break, we're talking about Igalo's return to the Super Eagles of Nigeria and how much of an impact it can have on the psychology of the other players, specifically talking about Victor Osimhen, Kelechi Iheanacho, and more importantly, it has to be said, Paul Onuachu, who hasn't really gotten the looking, pretty much a second choice striker to Victor. But if you're having Jude come back into the side, you must be feeling aggrieved if you're Paul Onuachu.
Will I? I mean, managers do what works for them. I think that's paramount. I was making a point prior to the, bills we had to go pay, and I was talking about the fact that this is not the first time, we're seeing managers call back players or players, retire from the international scene and then return back to their countries and make very, very valuable addition to the team going forward. Oftentimes, I talk about the fact that the end justifies that means or that process generally, and people can wag tongues and have their criticism and their what have you, but what matters is what does Odion Jude Igalo bring to the table at the end of all of this. There have been players. I think was it 1976. Roger Mila for Cameroon, returned back to the side after he was begged by the president, Paul Biya. Then, who else? There was Buffon, who have also returned back to the national team. There was Claude Makelele, who, made his debut in 2002, retired some 2 years after, was called back and was integral to the team when he returned, partnering Patrick Vieira in the heart of midfield. So there have been players who have returned back to the teams, and they have been so valuable to the teams in really crunchy times. I don't think this is an issue. Recently, Sweden recalled Zlatan Ibrahimovic, because they see that yes, he might be 40 or what have you, but the presence and the contribution of this player is there for everyone to actually see.
But many might argue, Anthony, that when you look at all of those examples you mentioned, there was a good enough reason to recall those players because primarily there was a gaping hole in those departments.
You don't think there's a good enough reason to call back?
Well, I'm saying it's creating a problem where there wasn't
it's not
at
creating
first.
a problem.
We are not lacking in that striking department. We've got Kelechi Iheanacho, we've got Paul Onuachu, and these guys are scoring goals.
The position that we're in quote lacking, which oftentimes people say is the midfield. How many midfielders now does Nigeria have playing quality top flight football in midfield? Natural, creative midfielders. Mention.
So if we don't have in midfield,
listen. We don't have enough quality in midfield, and this is across board. We're losing creative talent, especially in the heart of midfield. We're losing them. We don't have much of them. Some of them that we have been lost to countries who are serious with their football. Listen, I don't have an issue with bringing Odion Jude Igalo to the team. He's in form. He's fit. He's doing well. We're talking about the potentials of him, following the team to a cup competition where you and I know when it comes to cup competitions, you need different bit of everything. The experience, the youthfulness, the, the guile, the calmness. You need every bit of, these qualities to harness that team
Well,
and
for,
bring the
for
best
crying
out
for
of them.
experience, I think we've got that in abundance in the captain of the side,
Listen,
in Ahmed Musa.
Ahmed Musa is, listen, we're talking about a player who was the highest scorer for Nigeria at the Nations Cup, the last Nations Cup, through the qualifiers. He's been there, he's done that. We're not saying he will play all games. We're not saying that, but he can be that valuable substitution, maybe 2-3 minutes into a game that we desperately need a goal. He comes in with his experience, and you just never know. He could be integral to Nigeria writing or rewriting history. So I think that the criticism is unfounded now until the end of all of this. Let's see what he brings to the team. Is he just going to be there just for being there? Or will he actually play a role? The end justifies the means. We've seen countries bring back players for so many reasons. What matters is this player have got what it takes at that time. I mean, he won the Asian Player Award of the Month.
Has he still got what it takes to perform at the level?
Listen,
at that particular level?
Sam, he has got it. 11 goals since he joined Al-Shabaab.
Playing where?
Listen, yes, you can talk about he's playing in Saudi. Xavi was signed for Barca. Where was he coaching?
That's a different.
No.
We're talking about manager. Managers are different. Managers don't get on the pitch of play to play the game.
Sam.
You spoke about Zlatan. You spoke about Zlatan. Zlatan plays for where? AC Milan.
Sam, my
top
issue
level
is
football.
You're asking, where is he playing? He's playing in Saudi. And I'm telling you that people who have somebody managed in Saudi for how many years? 2-3 years, and is brought to manage a club as big as Barca.
All right, fair enough.
So, at the end of the day, yes, you might want to say that the level at which you're operating matters. But also, what are you doing where you are? If you're in the championship, what are you doing there? How many goals are you scoring there? How good are you there? You can be there and show that, yes, I've got the credentials to also rub shoulders with the big boys. All right, so I think that this shouldn't be an issue, and we're making it so much of an issue. There are so many young players. Some people were saying, Odion is blocking the future of young players. For crying out loud, they've got years ahead of them to be a part of the Nigerian setup and do great things.
There's a saying that there's no better time to introduce a young player into a game than the now.
See, Sam, everybody won't go for a tournament. It's a tournament.
All right.
And once again, it's a player that the manager trusts.
Okay.
Key. If you bring 17 or 16 years and if the manager doesn't have that's what it means for a manager to have confidence in a player and his ability to deliver for him. He's done it before for Gennett Raw. And once that idea was open, he thought, great, I would love to have him. So we shouldn't crucify him until the end of all of this.
All right. We'll wait to see how that one goes. Interesting. Tell me, before we go to the phone lines to take the thoughts of the listener out there, what do you make of this one? Odion Jude's return to the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Is it technically now blocking the progress of other players? Specifically, I'm always going to use the example of what's his name? The one who plays in Belgium. The Belgian league, the top scorer in the Belgian league. His name just Paul Onoachu. I mean, he's not had a consistent looking to the side because of the form, understandably so, of the likes of Victor Osimhen and Kelechi Iheanacho. And now here comes Jude Igalo back into the side. Does that limit, or will it limit further the chances of Paul Onoachu in playing for the Super Eagles of Nigeria? Tell me, what do you say about this Igalo's return to the Super Eagles of Nigeria? Do you support that notion that if this goes south, do you think it's good enough reason to blame the manager again at Raw?
Okay, the thing is, all this is it boils down to the manager himself. I feel Raw. I wouldn't criticize him or anything, but with this team, even with the plus of Jude Igalo, I feel it's a plus because if he knows how to use them, Gennett Raw was the one that invited him back into the team, so. If he's seeing something that he's going to add he's going to be like a plus to the team, I feel it's actually a good thing. It's a good news to the Nigerian team because he's going to bring in the experience. Fine, there are young stars there. I feel his presence in the team, if he's going to be starting or coming up from the bench, the young stars that are there will be watching him from the bench, seeing how he's doing his thing. And just like what Tony said, he is actually a key player to the Nigerian team, whether we like it or not, because with his body, with the way he actually bodies defenders, his control on the ball and all, it's actually a very good thing for the Nigerian team. So I feel it's a plus to the Super Eagles.
All right, then a big plus to the Super Eagles of Nigeria. And as we count down to those games, I mean, we've seen the Super Eagles play 4 games and 2 more games to go. The other teams have played. Femi, very quickly, when we look at the performance so far and looking ahead to those crucial, the next stage of the qualifiers, do you think, based on what we've seen, 4 matches, we have it in us when we come up against the likes of possibly Cameroon, South Africa, Senegal, Algeria again, who are doing so well on the continent? Do you think we can, we stand a chance basically against these sides?
Well, to be fair, I haven't been impressed with much with the Nigerian senior national side in the last few years. And I think the voice put a finger to the real problem. The bulk of our problem is not so much goalkeeping or defense or attacking or wing play. It's midfield. It's the heart, the engine room of any team. That is what tells how much quality you have. You look at our midfielders. I don't think it's a mere coincidence that at the height of our powers as a nation, the most celebrated players on the Nigerian Super Eagles team were the midfielders. You talk about JJ till tomorrow. You talk about Kanu. These people were not out-and-out strikers. They were known for what they did in holding midfield, ball carriers, people who can hold the ball with confidence, split a defense open with a pass. We lack that kind of quality. Yes, indeed, it gives us something from a defensive midfield play, box to box on occasion when he has to be. But who's that one guy? Who is that one guy? Who is your typical number 10? Who's the guy who dictates the play? Do we have that kind of player? Right now, Nigeria does not have anybody who dictates the play. You are going to tell me about Alex Iwobi, and I will tell you, come on, guy. You understand? We do not have that kind of player. And no team can adequately compete without having these kinds of quality in their team. We saw how Spain struggled for many years. In the end, they didn't get the kind of results they wanted, but finally, at the World Cup in South Africa in 2010, we are able to see what a team that has a Xavi and an Iniesta could do. There were other elements that came to play. If you remember, before 2010, they had been favorites. In 98, Spain were favorites, were odds-on favorites to win that. Nigeria beat them, and they didn't even go beyond the group stage. In 2002, and in 2002, unfortunately, for those who saw that game, they were knocked out in very questionable circumstances by South Korea. In 2004, they had all these elements, but again, they needed to work on. They were just a very good side with a lot of attacking play. And then in 2010, they came with this same Iniesta and Xavi, but they knew what to do defensively. It wasn't so much about what you do up front. Let the ball holders, let the ball runners do their thing. That's the problem I have with Nigeria. And that's why we might. So when we go into any game with a big side, it becomes a bit of a gamble. On a good day, we might surprise ourselves. On a bad day, playing against a Mo Salah-inspired Egypt, for instance, or a very cohesive Cote d'Ivoire, Senegal, Algeria, or Cameroon. We don't come into any of those matches as favorites anymore, and it's because of the dearth of quality play at the heart of the engine room, the midfield, and until that is sorted, even when we had Kanu and JJ, we had some quality players who could hold their own. And Oruma, for
Yeah.
instance, you could trust. And Karibe Ojigwe. You had some of these guys. Remember the guy, what's the name of this? Is it Mohammed? Who played with that same team with Hosseini and all of this guy. One guy who was touted to be a replacement for Haruna Lukman was in that team. There was this Ibrahim Mohammed or something Ibrahim who many people said at the time that this was the next JJ. His career was cut short. So we have wingers and runners, but we don't have creative minds. The guys who the team rely on to dictate the play. So what then happens is that every single game we have is like what you call set. It's like we're playing set. We have some talented individuals in some degree. We are running around and hoping for a chance to score a goal.
Yeah.
But there is no central direction. And that is where coaching, you ask, where would the quality come from? Well, I guess the country needs to find it. Those kinds of quality. Mikel did that, even though he was a defensive midfield player. But Mikel was the guy who could dictate the play for you going forward and all of that. Most, you don't have that anymore. Even we don't have a player like Osaze, for instance. We don't have a player like Ikpeba. We don't have an Amokachi. We don't have an Amuneke. We don't have. There's just so much quality that we've seen in times past that we don't have. Now, this is not to discountenance all our players. It's just that you need that quality controlling play. And we don't have it. So we just have a bunch of 11 guys who will run, who will kick the ball around, try to pass and but nothing is deliberate. And any smart team can take apart any team like the current Nigerian team.
Into bits.
All right. Interesting, the thoughts there of the guys in the studio as to the quality of the Super Eagles of Nigeria. What I would say is that despite all of those, I think we still can do an efficient job. Efficiency comes into play at times like this. And I guess the question will be now directed to the manager, Gennard Rowe. What you lack, how much you make up for that by converting or creating a team that can be efficient. The German teams
Sam,
are not particularly the most skillful.
This issue, oftentimes I hear people say, oh, Gennard Rowe is supposed to build the team. He's supposed to. National team jobs are quite different. We oftentimes mix this with club football. National team jobs is highly result oriented.
True.
It means that the manager is there to find the players and get the job done. See, it's not his business to come teach you how to pass or how to give some through ball, how to do basic things. It's not his job. But here we expect the manager to be the A and amen of the team. A national team, he's supposed to have the eye to find these players, and his major job is harness them. But because rudimentally, fundamentally,
We
lack some certain ingredients. So when you bring these players together, they don't really blossom and flourish as much as we can't talk about football and compare ourselves with some of the countries who have got ideologies that runs back to the 80s and 90s and how they've structurally built their game. We right now we're just dependent on how good of a quality do we have, to pick from. And some of this, I was reading a content about Jamal Musiala.
You are limited to your pool. You cannot buy players. You've got to find Nigerians with quality wherever they are.
Jamal Musiala now plays for Germany. One of the finest young talents across the world. He's got, I think, is it a Nigerian father?
He could either play for Nigeria, England, or Germany.
Yeah. All right. We have lost some of these young players down to the fact that, these players can't even trust their future with us because, you look back and what am I holding on to? What can I hold on to? All right, so I think that right now it is hard. Yes, we can go on to win. I'm looking at the next two games that we've got. It could be dicey. It could go down to the Cape Verde game.
We're not done and dusted yet.
That's what I'm saying. It could go down to the Cape Verde game on Tuesday in Nigeria.
Yeah, in Lagos.
That game could be some final before the final. Before the final qualifying phase. If Cape Verde win, and we win, then of course they're coming here to give us some.
And you're thinking of what we saw the
Yeah,
last time at
yeah,
home,
yeah.
where we dominated, and in the end we still managed to lose the game.
I mean,
You're not so confident.
You have to look at the Cape Verde game, which we played, and we won. I don't want to say luckily, all right, but we weren't so convincing in that game. And this Cape Verde side have shown time and
certainly
time
they
again
can be a
that
bit of a bogey side.
They can't get the goals. It's a side who understands attacking football. That's what they actually do. All right.
Game on right here on 99.3 Nigeria Info with Femi and the gang. We are live on Nigeria's first news talk and sports station, 99.3 Nigeria Info. And before the break, we're talking about the Super Eagles of Nigeria. We're going to go to the phone line to get your thoughts. But very quickly, we've got big news. Femi's got a big announcement to make. Something is brewing. When I say brewing, I always think of coffee. I don't know why, but something is percolating or brewing. Which one now?
John. We're already in 8 o'clock, so maybe you're thinking of breweries and stuff. But it's not particularly brewing. It's an existing thing. It's just a radio counterpart of it. So for lovers of football, for this season, we've had this excellent, really breathtaking footballing offering. We call it Ball, Wine and Dine, where great minds come together. We have conversations. Last week, Chidebere was on Ball, Wine and Dine, but it's been television mostly. It features yours truly. It features Swore. Features the legendary Temisan Okoye. It features great guests and all of that. Those kind of conversations. But there's a radio leg to Ball, Wine and Dine. Ball, Wine and Dine is all over TV on our sister network, Wazobia Max, Wazobia TV, but also on a flurry of other TV networks, including NTA Network, On TV, Silverbird, on television. The radio part of it is what we will do at 8 p.m. every Tuesday, where we would have conversations, worthy conversations. It's like a group of friends having lovely conversation over some drinks, over dinner. Which is why it is Ball, Wine and Dine. But the conversations will be great. And to kickstart, we're going to have a conversation here tonight, right after we take a few phone calls with the audience over the Nigerian Super Eagles games. And then we can launch an interesting conversation that would like to involve you. We'll just have this conversation between now and 9 p.m. You've got to wait for this one.
Certainly, you got to wait for it. And just to give heads up to Femi, I mean, we're talking Ball, Wine, and Dine. It certainly has a ring to it. But if there's ever one person you want to have on that show for the wine reasons,
Sam Wine.
I need to know about this story about wine.
He has to be the wine master, really.
What's this wine story?
Maybe he complains too much. Maybe he's whining.
Okay.
Certainly not that. Certainly not that.
Okay.
So let's get to hear from you now. Like you heard something big, and we're certainly going to have that immediately after we hear from you as to what you make of the Super Eagles conversation. 0700 993 993 993 is the number to dial to get through to us here in the studio and air your thoughts on what we've been talking so far as concerns the Super Eagles of Nigeria. 01465 7190 01465 7190. Also, after that, we'll go to WhatsApp to take your thoughts. Guys, when you call in, please turn down the volume of your radio set so we can have a very, very good conversation.